The front door opened, and I smelled her perfume before I saw her face. That vanilla scent she'd worn since our second date, the one I'd bought her for our first anniversary. Maria stepped into the kitchen, suitcase wheels clicking against the hardwood, and something in my chest seized up. She was glowing. Not the tired, jet-lagged version of my wife who usually stumbled through the door after trips. This was different. Radiant. Her hand drifted to her stomach, unconscious, protective, and my spatula clattered into the sink. My name is Bent with Josh, and this is my story. 5 months. It had been 5 months since the accident, since the doctors told me the nerve damage meant we couldn't. "Hey, baby," she said, but her smile faltered when she saw my face. I couldn't move. My eyes tracked to her neck where her grandmother's necklace should have been, the one she never took off. Gone. And there, barely covered by foundation, a shadow of purple on her collarbone. Her phone buzzed. She silenced it without looking. "You look different," I said slowly. "The beach air was amazing. I feel so refreshed." She touched her stomach again. My throat went dry. Behind her, our wedding photo sat face down on the counter. I'd turned it over that morning. Some part of me already knew. Before I continue, guys, do not forget to give this channel a like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories. Let's continue. My phone lit up on the counter. Derek's name flashed with a text. "Don't confront her yet. I have proof. Call me." But Maria's eyes were already on my screen. She saw my expression shift, saw the way my jaw locked. The air between us turned to ice. "What did Derek say?" Her voice came out small, tight. I pulled the phone away as she lunged for it. "When were you going to tell me?" Her face drained of color. Not confusion, not innocent shock, pure panic. The kind of panic that confirms everything you don't want to believe. "Tell you what." But her hand was already on her stomach again, protective, guilty. "Maria." "Bent, I don't—" "The glow, the necklace you pawned, that mark on your neck." Each word came out like gravel. "When were you going to tell me you're pregnant?" She stepped backward. Her eyes darted to the door, calculating. I'd seen her do this once before, years ago, when her sister asked if she'd crashed the car. That same weighing of options, that same desperate math of escape versus confession. "It's not what you think," she whispered. "Then what is it?" She couldn't answer. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out 3 pregnancy tests, still in their boxes. I'd bought them on my drive home from the firm, some animal instinct I couldn't name driving me into the pharmacy. "Take them, now, all 3. Maria's hands started shaking. "Why do you have those?" "Because your sister called me yesterday." I set them on the counter between us like evidence at a crime scene. She said congratulations. She thought I already knew. Maria's face went white. "Lily called you?" "Take the tests, Maria." "This is insane. You can't just—" "If you run," I said quietly, "I'll know everything I need to know." She stared at the boxes. 3 minutes later, she emerged from the bathroom, set all 3 tests on the counter. We didn't speak. The kitchen clock ticked. Somewhere outside, a dog barked. The timers went off on my phone. I looked at the tests. 2 lines, 2 lines, 2 lines. "I can explain," she started. I was already dialing my lawyer. "Explain to him," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine anymore. It sounded like someone who'd just watched their entire life collapse. The pounding on the door came an hour later. Patricia, Maria's mother, stormed in without waiting for an answer. "How dare you?" She pointed a finger in my face. "My daughter made 1 mistake, Bent. 1! You self-righteous—" I walked past her to my laptop, opened a file, hit play. Maria's voice filled the room, tinny through hotel walls but crystal clear. "He'll never find out. He's too trusting, too soft." Her laugh. That same laugh I'd fallen in love with in a hospital cafeteria 5 years ago. "Bent thinks I'm at the spa right now. God, he's so clueless." Another voice, male, mumbling something I couldn't make out. Maria again. No, he had that accident. We haven't had sex in months. He won't suspect anything." Patricia's hand went to her mouth. The color drained from her face the same way it had drained from Maria's an hour before. Genetics. "Where did you get that?" Patricia whispered. "Hotel walls are thin, and Derek knows the right people to ask." Patricia looked toward the guest room where Maria had locked herself, then back at me. "I taught her better than this," she said, and walked out without defending her daughter again. Maria came downstairs 2 hours later. Her eyes were swollen, mascara streaked. She looked like the girl I'd met in that hospital waiting room, the one crying over her grandmother. "Bent." Her voice cracked. "It is yours. The doctors said your condition was temporary, remember? They said there was still a chance." I slid a manila folder across the kitchen table. She opened it. I watched her eyes scan the medical documents. Once, twice, then her hand started trembling. You never told me." "Vasectomy, 4 years ago." I kept my voice flat, clinical. "Post-procedure sperm count, 0. Follow-up test 6 months later, 0. Follow-up test 1 year later, 0. The paper slipped from her fingers. "I was going to tell you," I continued. "Before our 5th anniversary next month, I had adoption papers ready. I wanted to surprise you, show you we could still have the family you wanted." Her face crumbled. "Who else knows? Everyone who matters." "Bent, please. How far along are you? 12 weeks? I did the math in my head. Miami, the girls' trip, room 847. "Get out of my house." "This is my house too. Read the prenup you signed, not anymore." The knock came at 11 p.m. I was in my office, Maria was in the guest room, I heard her footsteps, heard the door open, heard her gasp. "Maria, Josh!" A woman's voice, professional and cold. "You've been served." I appeared in the hallway as Maria's knees buckled against the doorframe. The lawyer, Catherine Chen, the best divorce attorney in 3 counties, stood there in a sharp suit despite the hour. "This is illegal!" Maria's voice pitched high. "We need counseling first. The state requires—" "Infidelity negates counseling requirements in this state, Mrs. Josh." Catherine smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "You have 72 hours to vacate the premises." "Bent, you can't do this." "Sign them," I said from the hallway, "or I file criminal fraud charges." "Fraud? You used my credit card for that Miami trip, told me it was a girls' spa retreat. That's financial fraud when obtained through deception and used for an extramarital affair. Your friend Vanessa already gave a statement." Maria's face went from red to white. "Vanessa wouldn't. Vanessa has photos of you stumbling in at 4 a.m. She doesn't want to be your accomplice." Catherine handed her a pen. Maria's hand shook as she took it. My phone rang the next morning. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me hit accept. "Yo, is this Maria's husband?" "Speaking." I put it on speaker. Derek was sitting across from me, coffee halfway to his mouth. The man laughed. Actually laughed. "Bro, no hard feelings, yeah? She told me you two were separated. Just calling to man up and say congrats on the kid, but like, you should probably get a DNA test." Derek's coffee cup froze in midair. "Separated?" I kept my voice level. "Yeah, man. She said you cheated first. She was heartbroken, needed to feel wanted again." "Elijah, shut up!" Maria's scream came from upstairs, muffled through the guest room door. "Oh shit, she's there? My bad, bro, I thought—" "What else did she tell you about me?" I asked. Derek was frantically scribbling notes, mouthing, "Keep him talking." That you gambled away her savings? And that you hit her once?" Elijah's voice shifted, uncertain now. "Wait, that's not true?" "Not a word of it." "Oh, fuck. Dude, I'm sorry, I didn't—" I hung up, looked at Derek. He was already texting the lawyer. "Every lie just became evidence," he said. 3 weeks later, an envelope arrived at my office. My own DNA test results. Not for the baby, for me. I'd had them run a fertility panel just to close every possible door Maria might try to wedge open. I opened it alone in my office, blinds drawn. Sperm count, 2.3 million per milliliter. Low, but viable. The vasectomy had failed. Rare, the report said, occurring in approximately 1 in 2,000 cases. Recanalization, they called it. I could be the father. My hands shook, holding the paper. I could be the father. Maria could use this. We could try again. Counseling. Forgiveness. I'd built my whole life around second chances, around building things that last. Then I remembered her voice on that recording. He's too trusting, too soft. I remembered the hotel footage Derek had shown me. Maria in the elevator, Elijah's hand on her lower back. Maria laughing, carefree, alive in a way she hadn't been with me in years. Derek appeared in my doorway. Well, I fed the paper into my shredder. Nothing? He asked. Nothing, I confirmed. You sure? I watched the strips of paper fall. Even if it's mine, Derek. She didn't think it was. She cheated believing she was safe. That was the betrayal that mattered. 6 months later, she showed up at my office. I was in a meeting with clients from Singapore, discussing the new resort project. $47 million contract, my biggest yet. My secretary buzzed. Sir, there's a situation in the lobby. Through my office window I saw her, pregnant, belly obvious now, causing a scene. Bent, please, I'll do anything. Clients turned to stare. The Singaporean investors looked uncomfortable. I excused myself, walked into the lobby. Security was already moving toward her. Ma'am, you need to leave. Ma'am? Her face crumpled. I'm your wife. Not for much longer. The divorce is final next week. It's your baby, I swear. I pulled out a paper I'd prepared for exactly this possibility. Then you won't mind signing this consent for DNA testing at birth. Maria went silent. Her hand dropped to her belly. Just sign it, I said quietly. If you're telling the truth. She looked at the paper, at me, at the security guards. She didn't sign. Ma'am, the guard said gently, taking her elbow. As they escorted her out, she screamed, You'll regret this! I returned to my meeting, closed the deal. The text came 3 months later, from Lily, Maria's sister, who'd sided with me after hearing the recording. She had the baby, boy. She named him Bent Jr. I stared at my phone. Derek looked over my shoulder from where we sat at the bar. Damn, that's manipulative. Another text. A photo. The baby had Maria's nose, her dark hair. But the eyes. Those light hazel eyes looked like mine. My finger hovered over the screen. Want me to order the DNA test? Derek asked quietly. I took a long drink. Thought about that shredded fertility report. Thought about Maria's face in my lobby, her refusal to sign the consent form. Yeah, I finally said, but I'm not hoping, I'm confirming. Derek nodded, ordered another round. The bartender set down 2 whiskeys. Rough day? Rough year, I said. But as I looked around the bar where I'd celebrated my first major contract, where I'd toasted to my future with Maria once, I realized something. I wasn't destroyed this time, not like after Amy. I'd learned to protect myself. The test was ordered that night. Results would take 2 weeks. I didn't let myself feel anything but relief that soon I'd know for certain. I drove to Patricia's house on a Thursday afternoon. The DNA results had arrived that morning. I'd sat in my car for 20 minutes before opening the envelope. Now I knocked on Patricia's door, envelope in hand. She answered, face tight with worry. Bent. Is she here? Patricia nodded, stepped aside. Maria appeared from the living room, baby in her arms. 9 pounds, the text had said. Healthy? Her eyes were red-rimmed, perpetually swollen now. She saw the envelope. Please, she whispered. Please let it be good news. I opened it slowly. The words blurred, then focused. Probability of paternity, 0.00%. Excluded as biological father. I looked at the baby for a long moment. He had my eyes, but genetics are strange, funny things. Coincidence. It's not mine, I said. Maria's legs gave out. Patricia caught her and the baby. The infant started crying. Wait! Maria's voice cracked. Can't we try? Can't we start over? I'll do anything. I turned toward the door. I already raised my salary, expanded to Singapore, built the life you said you wanted. I didn't look back. You threw it away for a resort manager making 42 grand a year. I left her sobbing on her mother's floor. 1 year later, I was at the grocery store with Sarah. We'd met at an architecture conference, clicked immediately over a shared obsession with sustainable design. She was pregnant now, 12 weeks. This time, I'd been there for the whole thing. We were laughing about baby names, loading organic groceries, when I turned the corner and saw her. Maria, cart full of discount formula and diapers. Baby Bent Jr. She'd refused to change the name, crying in the seat. She looked exhausted. Older. Her yoga pants had stains. Our eyes met. She froze. Saw Sarah's hand on her small bump. Saw my hand on Sarah's back, protective and present. "Who's that?" Sarah asked, confused by my expression. "No one important," I said, and meant it. We walked past. I heard Maria's cartwheels squeak as we turned the corner. Heard the baby wailing. Heard nothing else. Sarah squeezed my hand. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said, and realized I was. In the reflection of the freezer glass, I saw Maria standing there, still staring, still frozen. Sometimes you don't know what you had until you see someone else living the life you destroyed. I kept walking.